Revealed, 12 Divine Steps to Supernatural Transformation and Heavenly Deliverance in 40 Days. Mary stood at the crossroads of despair and hope. The old oak tree outside her cottage creaked solemnly in the chilly wind, a silent witness to her struggles. Just weeks ago, her heart had shattered when her husband left, leaving her to care for their 3 children alone. But on that extraordinary Sunday morning, the village priest's voice rang with a promise that sent shivers down her spine. In 40 days, those who seek divine transformation will witness miracles. Those words reverberated in her mind, wrapping around her heart like the warmth of a long-lost blanket. Could it be? Could 40 days change her life forever? She felt a flicker of hope ignite within her, a fragile flame amidst the darkness. Determined to reclaim her faith, she embraced the challenge, vowing to follow the 12 divine steps to transformation that the priest had boldly outlined. That very evening, Mary gathered her children, young faces filled with innocent wonder around their tiny dining table. They clasped their hands, eyes closed tightly as Mary invoked the intercession of Saint Joseph, the beloved patron of workers and families. As their voices melded into whispered prayers, the air thickened with divine presence. The familiar creak of the floorboards beneath her bare feet sounded ominous yet expectant. But soon, the battle began. Mary's relatives scoffed, their laughter ringing in her ears like mocking bells. "What do you think you're doing?" they derided. "It's foolish to cling to prayers." Their disbelief twisted around her heart like thorns, each jab more painful than the last. Yet, she rallied, she couldn't let doubt extinguish her hard-won faith. Then, the nightmare struck. Her eldest son, a vibrant boy full of dreams, fell grievously ill one stormy night. The wind howled outside as Mary cradled him, feeling the heat radiate off his fragile body. Despair clawed at her, whispering that perhaps all her efforts were in vain. The village spoke in hushed tones, sympathy painted on some faces while skepticism flickered in others. Yet, in her darkest hour, divine intervention brewed. A group of older women in the village, worn with years yet vibrant in spirit, arrived at her doorstep. They encircled her, their hands clasped in unwavering solidarity. "We will pray with you," they declared, their voices like a soothing balm over her frayed nerves. They shared stories of faith against all odds, igniting a spark within Mary. A cascade of kindness poured forth from neighbors, meals were dropped off, and offers of help flowed like a river of compassion. As the days melded into one another, Mary began to notice small signs of hope, her son's laughter returning, the light in his eyes flickering back to life. But with each blossoming miracle came renewed fear. Would they all come together in time? Would Saint Joseph truly intercede on their behalf? As the 40 days drew near, a palpable sense of divine atmosphere enveloped her. The village gathered, anticipating the miraculous. Mary knelt, her heart heavy yet resolute. Could angels truly watch over her? Before the dawn of completion, an old family secret rose from the shadows, threatening her newfound faith. Murmurs danced through the air, anxiety wrapping around the villagers' hearts. The stakes had never been higher. Would Mary find the strength to confront the heart-stopping truth? As whispers of miraculous deliverance fluttered, the essence of divine mystery entwined with fear and hope. What next awaited Mary on this treacherous path? Mary's heart raced as the whispers of the past crept into her thoughts. The weight of the secret hung in the air like an uninvited storm cloud, casting shadows over the light she had so desperately tried to embrace. She felt as though each heartbeat was a reminder, a call to action, beckoning her to confront what lay hidden beneath the surface of her family's history. Gathering her courage, she sought out the village priest, a beacon of strength during her harrowing journey. He greeted her with a compassionate smile, the gentle lines on his face revealing the wisdom earned through years of service to others. "Mary," he said softly, "what troubles your heart?" She hesitated, the words teetering on her lips. "Father, as the final days approach, I'm haunted by a secret, a family curse that has lingered through generations. They say it brings misfortune. Could it now threaten my children?" The priest listened intently, his expression a mixture of concern and resolve. "Secrets can bind us, my dear. But remember, where there is light, darkness cannot prevail. Seek the truth, and it will set you free." Bolstered by his words, Mary returned to the cottage, determination now coursing through her veins. She spoke with her children late into the night, sharing the whispers of the curse with them. Instead of fright, their eyes shone with bravery, unbound by age or understanding. "Together, Mama, we can break it," her youngest whispered, his voice full of innocence and hope. As dawn broke the next day, a renewed clarity washed over her. Faith wasn't merely about beliefs or rituals. It was also about confronting the shadows, naming the fears, and believing fiercely in the power of divine intervention. She organized a prayer vigil in their small yard, inviting villagers to join hands in solidarity against the curse that had haunted their family for far too long. As the evening approached, villagers trickled into her yard, lighting candles that flickered in the evening breeze. Mary felt a swell of love and unity. The elderly women who had once gathered in her living room now stood beside her, their strength entwined like ivy around her heart. They sang hymns, voices soaring into the twilight, pooling their intentions and hopes for divine deliverance over her family's burden. Then, as they prayed, Mary sensed something shift in the air. A chill passed, yet it felt alive, charged with possibility. She glanced toward the old oak tree, its branches swaying gently, whispering secrets of the ages. In that moment, the flickering flames of each candle mirrored her hopes, a visible embodiment of their collective prayers rising toward the heavens. Without warning, a loud crack echoed through the night, stirring the group into silence. They turned, gazing at the oak tree. To Mary's astonishment, a single branch slowly lowered, revealing an ancient, gnarled trunk where a hidden message carved long ago had begun to reveal itself. "Faith conquers all fear," it said, words that resonated deeply with her soul. Tears brimmed in her eyes as an overwhelming peace washed over her. But just then, the elderly woman beside her gasped, clutching her chest. "The answer," she stammered, "the answer is not only within our faith but also in our willingness to forgive those who have wronged us." Realization dawned on Mary. The unspoken truths of her family's past weren't just shadows of misfortune but cries for resolution and healing. In that moment, she understood that to seek divine transformation included letting go of the pain held in her heart, the very pain that birthed the curse. But as the night deepened, a new uncertainty emerged. Could she truly forgive? Or would the remnants of bitterness tie her back to the past? The stakes deepened, the next steps loomed as crucial as the prayers she had just offered. What liberation awaited her on the other side of forgiveness? And if she accepted this call to reconcile, would true miracles unfurl at last? The journey toward her family's deliverance had only just begun. Mary stood rooted beneath the old oak tree, her heart pounding. The message carved into the wood echoed in her mind. "Faith conquers all fear." The words rang true, but they also carried weight. The revelation of forgiveness had awakened deep feelings within her, stirred emotions that she had long kept buried beneath layers of hurt and blame. She looked around at the villagers, their faces illuminated by candlelight, their expressions a mixture of hope and solemnity. Each of them had come bearing their own shadows, their own burdens, their own needs for healing. A gentle breeze lifted the fragrance of the candles, filling the air with a floral scent that felt almost sacred. Mary felt a connection knit them together, threads of shared faith bridging the gaps between their stories. "Forgiveness," Mary whispered, and the word hung in the air like an invitation, a challenge. What would it mean to forgive the ones who had wronged her? She thought of the family members in her past, the mistakes, the arguments, the unresolved pain. Each memory tugged at her heart, making her pulse quicken. Yet somehow, the thought of release was almost enticing, beckoning her towards a brighter possibility. "Let us pray for strength, then," Mary said, her voice steadier now. "For strength to forgive. For healing in our hearts." The villagers nodded, forming a tighter circle around her, their hands gripping each other in shared empathy. The air grew thick with the weight of their prayers, each heart pouring out its own longing for peace. As they prayed, Mary began to visualize the faces of those she needed to forgive. Each image came alive in her mind, not just their deeds but their stories, their struggles, their imperfections. Each person was just that, a person. She realized she, too, had imperfections that needed grace. "Father, grant me the courage." She prayed aloud, her voice trembling with honesty. Help me to forgive, to let go of the anger and hurt that binds me. As she spoke, something remarkable began to happen. The slight chill in the air morphed into a warm embrace, surrounding her like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Hope flickered with every word, warming her heart and awakening a deep longing for reconciliation. Emotion surged, and Mary felt teardrops fall, mixing with the earth as an offering of love and forgiveness. Just then, the elderly woman who had spoken before spoke again, her eyes wide with revelation. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it's releasing the power that pain holds over you. Her voice was now calm, imbued with wisdom. It's saying, I will no longer be a prisoner of this hurt. Chills traveled down Mary's spine as she understood the transformative power of those words, catching the attention of others. The village felt alive, the flickering candles like stars in the night sky, symbolizing the light growing within each heart. Let us release the pain together, she urged, her tone a mere whisper, filled with tenderness. The villagers responded, closing their eyes, raising their hands as they envisioned chains breaking from their spirits. As the night deepened, they poured out their hearts, forgiving their family members, friends, and even themselves. The air vibrated with love, each prayer a thread weaving them closer to the divine essence they sought. And then, without warning, a light burst forth from the oak tree, brighter and more brilliant than before, illuminating the yard and the faces of those gathered. It wasn't just lighting up the night, it was igniting a new hope. Their collective gasps blended into a symphony of awe. Peace flooded Mary's heart, intertwining with an unmistakable empowerment. She realized that forgiveness might very well be her heritage's salvation. In this moment, standing beside the flickering candlelight and the wise souls of her community, she felt a swift conviction: forgiveness was a divine choice. Yet, as the flickering light cast shadows across Mary's face, she pondered the next step. Would she be strong enough to reach out to those who had wronged her? Would the act of forgiveness open doors to timid reconciliations? With the glow still shimmering in front of her, she whispered a prayer of strength. In the silence that followed, a voice deep within urged her: would she accept the challenge of transformation? What doors of miracle might open in the wake of her courageous steps? The world held its breath, eager for revelations yet to come. The light from the oak tree shimmered like a beacon of divine promise, captivating Mary and the villagers alike. It was as if the heavens themselves had opened, showering them with grace and boundless love. Each flicker of light danced like hope incarnate, and Mary felt the weight she carried begin to lift, as though the very essence of her prayers was taking shape. Look! Exclaimed a youth from the circle, his eyes wide with wonder. It's alive! The tree is alive! Mary turned to the others, her heart swelling as she saw the faces of her neighbors brightening with realization. They were not just individuals seeking forgiveness, they were a united front of love and purpose, a tapestry woven together by shared faith. Every journey begins with a single step, she said, her voice rising slightly above the awe that enveloped them. Forgiveness is that first step. Let us move forward together. The villagers nodded, their breath steady and unwavering. A few took tentative steps toward the oak, as if compelled by an unseen force. Mary felt a surge of courage wash over her. It was time. With each footfall, a calm reverberated in her heart. She turned her gaze toward the villagers, each of them pulling from their pasts some war frowns, shadows of their own stories, while others carried the weariness of unresolved conflicts. Who among us has not needed forgiveness? She asked, letting the question linger in the air like a sacred offering. A whisper of agreement rippled through the group. Today, we break our chains, Mary stated, her conviction strong. Let us share our stories, our wishes, out loud and in love. Let us free our hearts. Inspired, she stepped forward, encouraged by a warmth inside her that felt kindled by the divine glow of the tree. An older man, with sadness in his eyes, was the first to speak. I held a grudge against my brother for years. He left our family under dark circumstances. His voice broke slightly, revealing the sorrow he carried. But I see now that I must forgive him, not for him, but for me. I want to be free. Tears glazed his eyes, and he wiped them away with trembling hands. Around him, the villagers nodded, sharing in his release. One by one, they spoke their truths, each confession a thread lifted into the light. The elderly woman, who had prompted Mary's journey, proclaimed, "Forgiveness is a second chance for ourselves and others." More voices joined in, each story resonated, each truth cutting through the fog of pain and grievance. As they released their pent-up frustrations and heartaches, the light from the oak tree intensified. It felt as if the tree itself breathed alongside them, vibrant and alive. Mary closed her eyes for a moment, absorbing the sacred atmosphere. She sensed each prayer lifting toward the heavens as they shared burdens together. With each story, a healing balm was poured over their collective wounds, creating a symphony of hope that echoed into the night. The warmth wrapped around them, enveloping their hearts as bright sparks of joy began to emerge, lifting spirits like petals in the breeze. When Mary opened her eyes, she saw an array of faces transformed, smiles breaking through the once solemn expressions. Hope danced in their eyes, igniting an undeniable fire within them. "Shall we take one more step?" she asked, her heart thumping loudly. "Let us commit to reaching out to those we've hurt, and those who've hurt us. It's time to make amends." Resounding affirmations echoed in return, igniting a chorus of agreement. But as excitement filled the air, uncertainty still lingered. Would they truly reach out? Would their newfound commitment translate into action? Each heart wrestled with the choice before them. Would faith propel them forward into vulnerability, or would fear hold them back? With the warmth of the glow wrapping around them, Mary sensed the divine energy humming, eager to witness their next courageous steps. The question hung with a weighty patience: who would take the first step toward reconciliation? And what miracles awaited them on the other side? As the villagers stood there, a palpable energy surged through the air. It was as if time had paused in reverence of their moment. Each heart thumped in harmony with a single truth: they were ready to heal. Mary felt this truth deep inside, a flame igniting a path before them. Suddenly, a soft voice broke the stillness. It was Eliza, the widow who had lost her husband 5 years ago. Her hands trembled as she stepped forward, her face a canvas of raw emotion. "I have held on to my grief, my anger," she confessed, her voice scarcely above a whisper. "I blamed God for taking him from me. But today I want to forgive him." Gasps mingled with murmurs of disbelief threaded with admiration. Could it be true? Forgiving the divine? Eliza continued, her heart brave. "I want to free my heart and let love back in. I want my life to reflect joy again." A collective understanding swept over the villagers, igniting an atmosphere that felt both foreign and familiar. They witnessed the profound courage of one soul, breaking from the chains of sorrow. Mary felt her heart swell at Eliza's words. "This is what faith looks like," she echoed gently, her spirit buoyed by the light surrounding them. "Let us embrace this journey together, lifting each other as we dare to forgive. Eliza has shown us the way." Encouraged, others began to speak of their struggles. A mother admitted her fears about reconciling with a daughter who had turned away. A young man voiced his shame over mistakes that had haunted him for years. Confessions poured forth like raindrops in a drought, each one a sacred offering, bringing them closer to a healing rain. As they shared, the oak tree shimmered brighter, sending ribbons of light swirling around them. With each earnest confession and declaration, the light seemed to pulse, wrapping the community in a warmth that felt like grace itself. Mary recognized this as validation. Each act of bravery, each word of love was a step further into the divine light. She could feel the collective spirit rising, a powerful tide lifting each wave higher. Then, amidst the joy and unburdened hearts, one of the younger villagers hesitated. Jacob stood silently, wrestling with the heaviness that clung to him. Mary sensed his struggle, his need for release. She invited him gently, "Jacob, please, share with us what weighs on you." With visible effort, Jacob finally stepped into vulnerability. "I was wrong to blame my father for leaving. I despised him for years. But today I see that anger holds me captive. I want to let go." His voice quivered, and tears brimmed in his eyes. At that moment, the oak tree erupted into a dazzling display of light, illuminating Jacob's face. Mary perceived a shift of divine acceptance had circled around him, as if the heavens celebrated his declaration. Moved by the courage displayed, others began to approach Jacob, one by one, reaching out with warmth and affirmation. An outpouring of compassion spread, transforming not just the young man, but the entire circle. Mary realized the power of community in these moments. It wasn't just about personal forgiveness, it was a collective transformation. The very act of sharing their burdens wove them closer together, stitching patches of grace over wounds once thought too deep. Yet as the atmosphere filled with love, they all sensed the unspoken challenge ahead. Mary knew the true test awaited them beyond this circle. The real journey would begin when they left the safety of the Oak's light and stepped back into the world. As the celebrations began to fade, she posed a question to the group. What will you do tomorrow? How will we fulfill our promises? The question hung suspended in the air, a delicate thread of anticipation. In the echoes of their faith, what answers would emerge to guide them into the light? The dawn of a new day awaited, heavy with promise and change. And as Mary looked into the eyes of her friends, she could sense the stirring of their hopes, ready to unfold. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows around the oak tree, the villagers sat in a sacred stillness. Their hearts beat like a single drum, a melody of hope joining them in communion. Mary marveled at the transformation unfolding. The air was thick with possibility, an invisible thread binding them together. Tomorrow, she began, breaking the silence, we will step into our intentions, but we must ask ourselves, are we truly ready to walk in the light of our commitments? Her gaze shifted among her friends, searching their faces for the resolve that bubbled beneath the surface. Eliza, her own heart still fluttering from her confession, spoke again. I will reach out to those I've wronged, she said, her voice steadier now. I'll create a space for reconciliation. The words seemed to spark a fire, igniting a wave of courage across the circle. One by one, each villager shared their intentions, their voices weaving together a tapestry of dreams. The mother who had feared her daughter promised to send a letter, filled with love. The young man who felt shackled by shame vowed to volunteer at the local shelter, offering hope to those in need. Each promise was a step towards healing, an intimate gift offered to the divine. As they spoke, the light around the tree pulsed gently, as if affirming their choices. Mary felt it too, power throbbing in the air, wrapping them in a divine embrace. It was a reassurance, a signal that they were not alone. But amid the enthusiasm, Jacob remained quiet, his brow furrowed with thought. Mary approached him gently, kneeling beside him. What troubles you, Jacob? She asked softly, aware of the weight still pressing upon him. I don't know where to begin, he confessed, frustration creeping into his voice. My father left, and it feels like his absence is a wound that will never heal. How do I even start talking to him? Mary nodded, understanding the depth of his struggle. Sometimes, the first step is simply the belief that healing is possible. Have you considered writing him a letter? Pouring out what's in your heart? Jacob reflected on the idea. A flicker of hope ignited in his eyes. Yes, I could do that. I can express how I felt, maybe start this journey toward understanding. Yes. Mary encouraged, smiling brightly. That's the spirit of transformation, Jacob. Open the door of communication, even the smallest crack can let in light. Feeling emboldened, Jacob stood. There was something changing in him, a weight beginning to lift. The villagers regarded him with acceptance, their collective energy creating a space ripe for miracles. As night drew closer, they formed a circle, hands clasped tightly, each soul intertwining with another. In that moment of interdependence, Mary led them in a prayer, the words flowing like water over weary stones. Lord, we surrender our fears and our burdens. Guide us as we step into the light. Let our hearts be open to forgiveness and our spirits alive with love. Tears glistened in the eyes of those gathered, a holy response to the intentions laid bare. The oak tree shimmered with an ethereal glow, as if the heavens were nodding in agreement. Yet even amid the awakening spirit, Mary sensed the deep-seated hesitation lingering just beneath the surface. She knew the real challenge lay not in their confessions, but in their actions. The next day awaited, and with it, the uncharted landscape of restored relationships and renewed faith loomed before them. Will we hold steadfast when faced with doubt? She pondered silently, stirring in her heart. As the stars twinkled above, the villagers felt the sacred mystery of what was to come. With courage blossoming in their souls, they stood ready. The dawn of divine encounters lay just ahead. What miracles awaited them on the path to transformation? Would their intentions bear fruit, or would the shadows of their past try to reclaim them? The answers hung in the air, a sweet call to journey deeper into the light. Dawn broke softly over the village, the light filtering through the leaves of the great oak tree, illuminating the faces of those gathered beneath its branches. Mary awakened with a sense of purpose. Today was not just another day, it was a divine opportunity waiting to unfold. She looked around, her heart swelling with anticipation as she saw her friends emerging from their homes, each one ready to take the first step on their spiritual journeys. As she joined them, she noted the vibrant energy in the air. Eliza was already there, her cheeks flushed with excitement. "I've thought a lot about our commitments," she said eagerly. "I can feel the weight beginning to lift. It's like a cloud parting to let the sun shine through." Mary smiled and nodded, buoyed by Eliza's enthusiasm. "And what shall you do first?" she asked, her own heart racing at the notion of the possibilities that lay ahead. "I'll write that letter to my sister," Eliza replied, determination in her voice. "It's time to heal our rift. I want her to know I'm ready to forgive." One by one, they shared their plans with the rising sun as their witness. The young man who would volunteer spoke of excitement for his first day, while the fearful mother breathed in strength, determined to reach out to her daughter. Each intention was a seed, and together they would nourish each other's growth. However, all eyes turned to Jacob as he stepped forward, his face a mixture of hope and trepidation. There was a flicker of uncertainty still casting shadows on his spirit, but today felt different. "I'm ready to write to my father," he announced slowly. "I realize this isn't just about him, it's about me finding peace in my heart too." The villagers erupted in support, their voices rising like a chorus of angels. "We stand with you, Jacob," they said, embracing him. He felt a warmth swell within, a divine reassurance that broke through the hesitations that just yesterday had seemed insurmountable. As they began to scatter to fulfill their commitments, Mary lingered a moment under the oak tree. Her heart expanded, filled with gratitude for the unity they had forged. But as she looked up at the branches swaying gently, she couldn't shake the feeling that a divine presence beckoned for deeper reflection. Drawn back into the circle where they began, Mary raised her voice gently. "Let us remember, each of us is part of something larger. Our actions today can ripple beyond what we can see. Who knows how our small steps will affect the lives of others?" Distant murmurs of agreement echoed around her, but doubt also lingered in the minds of some. Will our willingness to change truly cultivate the fruits of transformation? A quiet voice questioned, echoing thoughts that many kept hidden. "Faith is like a seed," Mary responded, aware of the heart murmuring beneath the surface. "It can seem small and insignificant, but with the right care, it can grow into something magnificent. Trust that the divine will cultivate it." With that prayer, they scattered into the awaiting day, each person carrying their own intentions like lanterns, guiding them on their way. The world was bright, as if affirming every step. As the sun rose higher, laughter and encouragement filled the air. Yet in the depths of Mary's spirit, another whisper grew. What would be the cost of their transformations? Would the trials they might face mold them into who they were meant to be? Would they lean into the divine for strength when shadows crept closer? Their next steps awaited, each turn a vital choice toward potential glory or hidden pitfalls. Could they remain steadfast in faith when faced with resistance? Only time would tell, as the momentum of their intentions rolled forward, an uncharted journey glowing on the horizon. The sun climbed higher as the morning unfolded, casting golden rays over the village, which now buzzed with activity. People moved about, fulfilling their promises, each step brimming with hope. Mary took a deep breath, cherishing the richness of their shared energy that hung in the air like the sweet scent of blooming flowers. She spotted Eliza by the brook, seated on a smooth stone, pen in hand. With furrowed brows, she scribbled her thoughts, pouring forth the love she felt for her sister. Mary could see tears glistening in Eliza's eyes, each drop a testament to her commitment. "I believe in the power of words," she whispered softly to herself before folding the letter, her heart lifting as she prepared to send it. Not far from the water's edge, Jacob paced back and forth, his heart racing. The weight of his unresolved relationship with his father pressed heavily on him, but the support from his friends bolstered his spirits. "You can do this," he encouraged himself. This letter could change everything. He took a deep breath, letting in hope, and began to draft his own message of reconciliation. Meanwhile, Mary found herself drawn to the village square where laughter and exchange of news painted a lively scene. The volunteer from the previous day shared stories of kindness, little acts sparked by his mission to help others. "Every hand extended," he said, "is a reminder that we are not alone. We shine brighter together." Standing there, Mary realized their little community was more than just a gathering of spirits, they were a movement, each individual weaving threads of grace into the tapestry of life. She thought of their collective strength, a force that could reshape lives starting with their own. "Look around," Mary called out, feeling the excitement bubble within her. "Can you see what is happening? A divine orchestra is growing. Each one of us is playing a note in a beautiful symphony. Our change beckons more change." Their joyful responses rippled through the crowd, echoes of affirmation resonating in the hearts of those listening. "Yes, let us harmonize in this new journey. We are here for each other," said a wise elder, joining Mary's call. But within the joyful thrumming, an undercurrent of tension weaved through the air. Mary noticed some villagers hesitating. Old fears and doubts crept back into their minds, shadowing the optimism. "What if we fail?" someone murmured, wariness seeping into their tone. "Remember, dear friends," Mary urged gently, "faith calls us to take the leap, even when it feels uncertain. Remember the clouds parting for Eliza. Every effort counts, even if it seems small." In that moment, Mary felt a shift, a gentle stirring of something sacred as the soft rays of the sun broke through the clouds above. Hope cascaded like a waterfall, awakening their spirits. "Let us stand firm against doubt," she called, her voice ringing clear as she raised her hands in prayer. The villagers joined her, creating a circle of unity. Their eyes glimmered with renewed determination, hearts beating in sync, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. "We will not let fear dictate our steps," another called out, and they rallied around this fresh resolve. As laughter echoed and promises strengthened, a hush fell over the gathering in mirrored reflection. They stood on the precipice of something profound, a sacred adventure awaiting them. Each person held their own vision, yet each shared a common thread, a longing to transform and become. But as Mary surveyed their hopeful faces, a question lingered in her heart. What awaited them on this path of change? Would they rise beyond their fears, or would struggles deepen their faith? As they prepared to embrace their commitments, the divine mystery loomed, and only time would reveal the wonders hidden ahead. Would they find the strength within themselves to withstand the storms that could come? As the villagers stood together, united in spirit, the sun glimmered through the trees, bathing them in warmth and light. Mary felt a shift in the atmosphere. It was as if the very air around them was charged with purpose, drumming a rhythm that invited them to take that first step into the unknown. Eliza rose from her stone, crumpled letter in hand, the ink still fresh with her hopes. She stepped toward Mary, her heart racing with the bravery that coursed through her veins. "I want to send my letter today," she declared, her voice unwavering despite the gentle tremor beneath. "I believe it will act like a bridge, connecting my heart to my sister's." Mary beamed, the sight of Eliza's conviction dazzling her like the sun. "Yes, sister. Your words carry power, a power that can traverse distance and time. Each penned expression is a prayer, cradled in faith." The villagers watched, entranced. Inspired by Eliza's courage, Jacob took a hesitant step forward. "And I," he began, clearing his throat. "I will write too. This message to my father must be sent. It's time to break the silence." His words hung in the air, soft yet profound. The villagers murmured an encouragement, understanding the weight of his decision. They all knew the challenge faced when talking of estrangement, the fear of rejection thick among them. But the unity they felt now ignited a flame of bravery within. "See how every choice brings us closer?" Mary encouraged, her heart swelling with pride. "Every leap we take inspires another. We weave each other's stories together." With newfound resolve, the group settled down. One by one, they gathered around Eliza and Jacob, ready to voice their own letters of hope, stories of love, forgiveness, and connection. A tapestry of dreams began to unfold right before Mary's eyes. As they penned their letters, moments of silence enveloped them, broken only by the rustle of paper and the gentle splash of the brook nearby. Soft whispers filled the air, each one a profound expression of the soul's desire to reach out. Amidst this sacred space, a wise elder rose from the crowd, his white beard catching the sun's rays. "We should not underestimate the power of our vulnerability. It is in our openness that we invite miracles. Each letter is not just ink on paper, it's an invocation of divine intervention." Cheers erupted, filling the village square with light and joy. One brave voice followed the elder's call, then another, each sharing their intent to reach out to family, friends, or even strangers in need. Their words forged connections across unseen distances, creating the very fabric of their community's strength. Yet, amidst the palpable excitement, Mary felt a gentle whisper brush against her spirit. Dark clouds still loomed, real and present, a reminder of the challenges ahead. "Even as we journey forward, we must be wise to the whispers of doubt that may surface," she cautioned gently, her voice steady. "Faith is not the absence of struggle but the assurance that we are never alone in it. Trust is the compass that guides our hearts amid storms." The villagers nodded, grounding themselves in a collective resolve. They were on the cusp of a sacred adventure, yet the bravery required would demand more than mere words. A sacred silence fell once more, as if the universe itself held its breath, awaiting their next move. Mary gazed at her friends, excitement fluttering in her chest. What awaited them on this path? Would their letters spark healing and connection, or would the fear of rejection feel like an insurmountable barrier? As hope and uncertainty intertwined, they stood united, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. Would they discover the transformative power hidden in their vulnerability? What miracles would emerge from their courageous acts of love? Mary stood at the edge of the village square, her heart brimming with faith, gratitude, and a flicker of apprehension. The air buzzed with energy, as villagers filled with anticipation gathered to share their letters, walking boldly into the unknown with words of love and healing. Eliza, her face glowing with purpose, stood before everyone, clutching the letter she wrote with trembling hands. "Today is a new beginning," she proclaimed, drawing the attention of those nearby. "I send my letter to my sister, asking for forgiveness. I want to mend our bond." Her voice soared, wrapping around each listener like a warm embrace. Jacob stepped beside her, clutching his pen with determination. "I will also write," he declared. "My father deserves to hear my heart." The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers igniting a fire of courage among other villagers. Each soul stepped forward one by one, sharing their intentions with trembling sincerity. The young man spoke tenderly of his desire to heal family rifts. The mother read aloud her message filled with love to her estranged daughter, while an older woman expressed her wish for reconciliation with old friends. Each letter symbolized not just words, but faith in action's miracle set into motion by cascading intentions. "Well done, my friends," Mary called, her voice steady. "Each brave act sends ripples through the fabric of our lives. God hears our prayers and each word is a seed planted in the fertile ground of love." But even as they celebrated, a storm brewed within Mary's heart. Would they face resistance? Would the healing they yearned for come to fruition? Each moment seemed pregnant with divine possibility, yet shadows whispered fears of failure. "We cannot let fear dictate our steps," she reminded them. "Let the sound of our hearts drown out the doubt." As they prepared to unearth the letters into the world, the heavens echoed with whispers of affirmation. At that moment, she noticed an elderly man lingering at the back, his eyes heavy with burdens. Timidity clung to him as if he were wading through a thick fog. "What troubles you, friend?" Mary asked, approaching him with gentle warmth. With a sigh, he spoke softly, I've been estranged from my sister for decades. Fear of rejection holds me back. He paused, voice shaking. I don't know where to even start. Mary felt a surge of compassion. Your heart aches for connection, she assured him, and sometimes, the simplest words can create bridges where walls once stood. Trust that vulnerability invites healing. You are not alone. Encouraged, he slowly stepped forward. I want to write. The villagers nodded in affirmation, their unity melting boundaries that isolated his spirit. With renewed strength, he took a seat, pen in hand, and began to express his heart's longing. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, the golden light painted the village square in hues of warmth, wrapping around the villagers like a tangible blessing. With each letter shared, Mary felt a profound shift in the atmosphere, a divine purpose intertwining their souls. Then, the elderly woman who first ignited Mary's journey stepped forward, eyes sparkling. Every act of love is a testament to our faith, she said, her voice imbued with wisdom. Let us not forget that when we forgive, we free not only ourselves but create a pathway for divine miracles to cascade through our lives. The villagers murmured in agreement, their hearts swelling with anticipation. They joined hands in a circle, united as they prepared to release their letters to the heavens. Let us pray together before we send them off, Mary urged with urgency. As they bowed their heads, the air thickened with sacred intention. Dear Lord, Mary began, grant us courage to face the unknown. We surrender our pasts to you and embrace the freedom that forgiveness brings. Just then, a faint wind stirred through the square, carrying away whispers of doubt, filling the air with a palpable sense of divine presence. It felt as if the universe held its breath in reverence. When they lifted their heads, hope radiated from every face. Mary locked eyes with her friends, love sweeping through her heart. Let us release our letters to the wind, sending our words of love, healing, and forgiveness into the world. With that declaration, they opened their palms, and one by one, released their letters into the gentle breeze. They watched as the papers danced into the air as if transformed into doves, carrying their intentions on winds of hope. Joy erupted among them like a symphony, laughter mingled with tears of freedom. Each heart felt lighter, unshackled from the burden of unresolved pain, ready to welcome healing that only God could bestow. But even amidst the joy, Mary pondered the next steps. What awaited them now? Would miracles unfold as they stepped into their commitments? Bursting with anticipation, she closed her eyes and whispered a prayer, asking for clarity and strength. Then, a voice from the crowd interrupted her thoughts. Let us not just wait for miracles, let us be agents of them. It was Jacob, beaming with conviction. Let us reach out beyond today. Share our stories of healing, so others may also be inspired. The villagers nodded enthusiastically, excitement buzzing as plans began to form. They envisioned gatherings, celebrations, and moments of sharing, creating the very environment where love could flourish and transform hearts. Mary couldn't help but smile. Together, they were more than just a community. They were vessels of divine love, intertwined in the sacred journey of faith. Remember, she said with unyielding hope, every act of love is a testament to our commitment to this path. We will inspire others to blossom in this light, refuse to let shadows reclaim our hearts. As they embraced one another, a collective sense of urgency surged. They were on the brink of something magnificent, standing poised at the door of destiny. As the sun set on that transformative day, Mary recognized that they had awakened a new chapter not just for themselves, but for their entire community. And as they left the square hand in hand, she knew, the journey ahead was divinely orchestrated, with countless miracles ready to unfold. Now, dear friends, it's your turn. You need to subscribe immediately to our channel. Don't miss out on upcoming exclusive faith stories that lift your spirit. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support fuels these powerful testimonies. Comment below with your reactions and personal testimonies about how this story touched your heart. And do not wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this manifestation of divine love. Let us spread hope together. It's time to ignite change. Let us be faithful servants of God in every action.